guys, thanks for listening. Keep making mine too long. Okay. My original plan was this integrity of creation, teaming for a solution. So this is the thing I presented with my advisor. And my ultimate goal was to work on the Green Schools Initiative and become a Green Ribbon school. And my particular component was building the environmental sustainability education piece, like building the curriculum into the classroom. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to kind of test the waters for a professional learning team. This would fit perfectly in our characteristic of Marinus education number 4. So we have 5 characteristics that we have to fulfill, and one of them is educating our young men for service, justice, peace, and integrity of creation. It was going to be perfect. I was going to go I went to the Sustainability Institute, got really fired up, and came back, and I was going to plan this PLC. Um, so I reached out to a bunch of teachers, practical arts, PE, fine arts, religion, language, as many departments as I felt like I could reach. And I got some positive feedback. People were willing to get involved, but finding a time to meet was nearly impossible. We had come down to like maybe 2 people could meet with me at 7 in the morning from 7 to 7:35. So in some cases, that's not even enough time to set norms, and I would have to have multiple meetings in order to reach the spectrum of um, departments that I was hoping for this PLC. Okay, so I had to scrap this plan and kind of redirect to my next goal of I collaborated a lot with Brett on this and trying to figure out what is my best next step. So I decided to present to the academic council, also kind of inspired by Caitlin, is doing a lunch and learn. So I presented to our department heads and the academic principal the idea of building out our common home, this theme at school. And my 2 goals were to cover, it's not clicking. My 2 goals were to build out this recycling program and ensure that it was working consistently on campus, and do a lunch and learn where I could support teacher learning and how they can better incorporate um, sustainability into their curriculum and see where they're already being successful and providing those tools. So my plan was every day 3, so we started every day that starts with a third block. My lunch hour would be plan time, and I would present the big ideas of sustainability. So those were my 2 plans. The first plan went off pretty well. I started sending out some really nice newsletters that look like this. You can see the progression from the first one to the second one, where I kind of made it larger and clearer to read. This is where I introduced the lunch and learn. Okay, so the first lunch and learn talks about it here. Building out sustainability in the classroom, just like come in, talk to me about it. And this was my hope, was to kind of build out a plan and see where I could fit into the classroom. Okay, so there's my lunch and learns. And sorry about that. Um, so here's my newsletters. Um, and I had all these lunch and learns planned, the 8th, the 24th, the November 8th to 26th, and the 10th. Okay, the first one went really well. I got a lot of great feedback, a lot of information, some really great things. Then I advertised the second one. I sat for an hour and a half and no one showed. So you guys all saw this meme that I posted. So it was a little disappointing. So I sat down with Brett and we came up with a plan of kind of putting out table tents and moving the time so I'm in a room closer to the lunchroom, so it's easier to find and easier to get to, because this is kind of off the beaten path where I was meeting. And I am presenting at the first faculty meeting at the beginning of the school year. So I'm hoping to kind of rev up people's interests at that point and kind of reset my goals for Lunch and Learn second semester, where after I introduce the concept to people publicly, that we can really get down and dirty in discussing ways that we can bring this into the classroom is collective groups that show up on hopefully a consistent basis. So fingers crossed, and hopefully it'll work. So we'll see if my regrouping works, and cross your fingers.